Okay, so I hope the screen is recording, and yes, so I think this cannot go down this. It's okay. So basically today we'll be discussing this problem, maximum multiplication score. This came in the today's contest, today's LeetCode weekly contest, and we'll be discussing the approach, and like I'll be discussing like whatever I could think when I tried solving this problem. So basically you are given an integer array of size 4. So basically if you see this, all these are like integer array of size 4, and we have given another array which is like b, and we need to pair of each of these indexes with some of the indexes here. But one thing to notice here is this is like you cannot pair it randomly with any index that you find. So basically if you pair up 3 with 2, okay, let's go to iPad screen. So basically I'm doing this for first time, but yeah, let me go back to iPad screen. So no idea why this is using this speaker should be this. Okay, for recording on this, I'm not recording there. Okay, so just let me just freshly create a new array, and let's try to so basically you're given two array a. Let me use a different color. So you are given, why did I write dp? So you're given a array, and there is a only has 4 elements. So a0, a1, a2, and a1, a2, and a3, you can say, right? Right. So other thing like b is given like n number of elements. So b0 to, you can have like as many elements till n minus 1. Okay, so now this is clear up. Now we need to find maximum score. What is this score? What is the score of an array a, basically? So you need to pair up a with some indexes, i0, i1, i2, i3 in the b, right? So in this array you need to select kind of 4 array. So okay, so let me just try this. Okay. I'm not sure how this works. Let's go back. So let's say I try selecting this one. Okay, then I should, for let's say for a0, I try pairing up with this this index b0. So for a2 I have to pair it with b1 or anything which comes after this. Then for a2 also I can pair up anything which comes after this. For a3 also I have to pair up with something something which comes after this. So basically this is what the question is like. Basically the i0, i1, i3 should have this, so we cannot mess up this order. So this ordering matters. Okay, so this is basically and what is the score? Score is basically once you have chosen those indexes, so you multiply those i0, you multiply a0, and then you kind of plus every index that you have chosen. So this goes till a3. Now I hope the problem is clear, and let's go back to the problem statement. So now very first intuition which comes is like if you do if there is a value, right? So if there is a value like a0, okay, now this also notice that ai and bi can be can be from minus 1e5 to minus 1e5 to 1e5, right? So basically the value of a can go from 1e5 to minus 1e5, right? And similarly I think value of b also can go from minus 1e5 to, so basically a and b both values can go from minus 25 to 1e5. Okay. Now, so basically what I thought during this problem was to, first I was thinking to do some kind of sorting or anything, uh, but that solution will not work because we will mess up the order of the indices. Also, like even if we sort, you know, what we will choose, right? What can we choose? Is it always, for a, let's say for any a0, is it always, are you going to give it a, maximum value or some kind of, so let's say if there was just one value, right? So if there was just one value, then of course you'll choose the and this is, let's say, positive, all the elements in b array is also positive, then it's nothing, it's literally not a problem, right? So like I started thinking from there, and then I tried, let's for a0, you know try, you know creating different cases, like if this is positive, then I should take up positive for this, so I should try pairing up with positive, right? But the problem here is, and then I try, if this is a negative, then first, so like if I try building my solution greedily, then I first try giving negative numbers to this, but the problem with the greedy solution is that it's not like we have to select just one number, we have to select like four number in this b array, and that also, like, let's say if it's b0, b1, b2, and if we go like bn minus 1, if we have selected for, let's say, 1a0, if we have selected, let's say, positive, and this was positive, so I tried giving, matching up this positive with positive. So like, let's say for now this was also positive and this was also positive, and I try multiplying this positive. Now if I see again another positive, so it might be the case key this will give me the correct result, or maybe this will give me the correct result. Now there were like lot of, you know uh, conflicting thoughts, so I discarded that thought process itself. Now going further, um, also this was just after sorting or something, but that was definitely not gonna happen. So let's go back to this problem. So also then after that I tried thinking, maybe, again something similar to sorting, but I tried thinking ki, let's maintain, sorting with indexes and also with, you know priority queue, but that was also like uh, uh, same kind of solution, which was not very clear, and it had so many conflicting thoughts, so just discarded. Now what could be this solution then, right? So I see there is something like, if you observe carefully, so basically you need to, in b array, you need to select four four length sequence, or you can say, so basically you need to select four elements from here. how many ways you can select? There are n element, then nc4. So if you try brute force, this is like n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, right? So it's like n to the power 4. N is 1e5, I guess. That is 10 to the power 5, which will again not work. Okay, so brute force definitely not gonna work. Now moving on, it's something like we have to select this, if we kind of select this, so it's something like to do with some four length, four things, four elements that we need to pick it out. Okay, now let's try thinking in terms of, let's say if I have a0, a1, a2 and a3. Okay, and let's say I try matching up this value b1 with a1. So for every value I can say either I match it up or I don't match it up. Okay, so then it gave me a vibe like of DP. It gives a vibe, like DP. So like pick or don't pick, right? So either you pick that element or you don't pick that element. So also, this is like 4. This whole array is just of size 4. So I thought maybe why not give it a try. So coming up with a DP solution is uh, it requires a few steps that you need to follow. So first you had to define something called as state in DP. Okay, so how will you define your state here? So I defined it like x and I. Okay, so basically right now let's say I am standing at an ith index of B. So this is my B array, and I have kind of covered all the I have covered I elements. Okay, then right, and at this point I am there, and this DP gives me maximum score. Okay, so I can write this maximum score give what can we say? So maximum score after covering okay, after covering I elements, and what is this x? So do you agree that we'll need to have we must have a count of elements that we have chosen so far, right? So the number of, and using x elements from AI, right? And this x can go from 1 to 4, or you can say 0 to 4. Okay, we may not choose any element. Now this is a valid this looks like a good DP state, so we can form our solution over this. So after this, so after writing the state, so let's call it that this is the state. It's important to write your transition. So what is the transition? So whenever you're thinking of a transition, you should always think it in a way such that, let's say, like try thinking of a shorter or a simpler sub problem. So let's say I was at I. Okay, so if I was at I and this element was like, and I have chosen like x elements. So if I choose this element, right, so if I choose this element to pair up with this element, so this is B and this is A. So if I choose this element to pair up with this element, then what happens, right? Then my number of elements will increase, right? Right, for sure. And also there will be, there will be a factor like a of x and b of I, right? This kind of factor will kind of get added somewhere. So basically what I'm trying to say, let's say uh, we had uh, we had like some state. uh, how can we make it easier to think about? So let's say we had I element and x. So how can we form this ix? So we can form like from I1 x minus 1, right? So we can come from I minus 1 element and x minus 1, choose an element from I. So this was kind of the crux to come up with the transition. So you can write dpix, right? Also it's if you have done standard problems of dp, you can also think like, let's try picking or not picking this element. So that's what we are also going to try, right? So let's say first the simpler case, if I don't pick up this element, so I just move one index ahead, right? Or if I write it in terms of starting from if I'm trying to build up my answer from 0, so I can say that I minus 1 and x, because the number of elements will not increase, right? Now let's say if I pick up this element, right? So what happens if I pick up this element? So I go to I minus 1, and since we are coming from there, so this will be like x minus 1 elements give me the answer, right? Maximum score that we were able to achieve using I minus 1 uh, elements in B, and x minus 1 elements that we chose in A. Plus, if we have chosen this element, then we can add A of x into B of I. We must add this, right? Now maximum of all this is going to be answer. So this is a simple transition. We can definitely write this. Nothing very scary or anything. After this, what is going to be our final? No. Before that, let's come up with base case. We have not discussed about this. So coming up with base case is pretty easy here, because let's say we don't have any elements chosen from there, then what is the maximum score that we can achieve, right? So this will be 0, isn't it? We are not choosing anything from A, then maximum score is 0. So I like anything you choose from B, eh, like any elements, this is going to be 0. Okay. uh, Other thing is, what is our final answer? So final answer is very simple. Final answer is simply, if I use all the elements from B array, and at last I have to choose 4 elements for sure, right? This is going to be our answer. Now let's go to solution that I wrote, right? So this is still not very much clear, like not very much clean, but it's okay, it will do the job. So first of all, you need to initialize, also look at the constants. So what is the maximum product that you can have? So let's say it's 10 ki power 5 everywhere, so it becomes 10 to the power 10, uh, right? It becomes 10 to the power 10 plus plus plus, so that will be the length. So somewhere around what is the length? So it becomes like 10 q in the range of 10 to the power 10 only, right? So we'll need to use long. And also to store this should be typecasted in long. So it's pretty easy. You also, base case is something like this. So first you initialize everything as minus infinity, and then you try going and building the answer. So basically dpix is equal to whatever I wrote in my transition, right? Here it is 1 based, so I have to go like x minus 1 and I minus 1. And you can see if I submit this should give me accepted. So basically this was a DP problem, and to see the to come up with the to come up on the DP solution, it took me a little while, because even it didn't click me very fast, because I was thinking greedily first. But yeah, this is a DP solution, and that's it, guys. I think